Are you trying to figure out where to buy an investment property? And are you trying to figure out which state has the best return on investment and cash flow for you? Well, today I'm gonna rank all 50 states to tell you exactly which states are the worst and the best for buying an investment property. Let's talk. When I first got started in real estate investing, there wasn't a huge amount of competition. The rates were pretty good, the home prices were decent, and the overall market seemed to be heading in a very good direction. In fact, when I got my first rental properties, I got a solid 4.5% investment rate, which is unheard of today. But over the past few years, less and less people have been able to buy a primary residence due to the rising home prices and the rising interest rates, which always leads to more people needing to rent. But not every single state has good deals, good home prices, and good renters. So where should you start investing? But first, let's go ahead and talk about what actually makes a state good for investment properties. In a good, perfect world, you would want a state that has a good high median income, but also you want a state that has good population growth, good jobs, and as well as a higher median home price that maybe the average person can't afford. That's gonna lead to that state having just a higher population of renters. And if you look at every state, right now, no state has an affordable house for pretty much anyone. Another thing that's also hugely beneficial is the taxes in that state. The lower the taxes, the more money that's in your pocket. Now, before I get into this ranking, how did I actually go about ranking this and what formula did I use? Well, it's actually pretty simple. I looked at the median home price in each state and I tried to figure out what would a loan look like for an investor. It's gonna be a 30-year fixed, 8% interest rate, which is the current interest rates right now for most investors, and 25% down. Now you could easily do a 20 or a 15-year mortgage and you could easily put 20% down or 30 or 40% down, but a good safe bet is to say 25% down. Once I got that monthly payment, I then compared it to the average rent in that state. I wanted to see how much of a difference is there between how much a mortgage would cost versus what the average rent is. So to show you an example, let me start with the worst state possible that you could ever buy in as an investor in 2024. So the absolute worst state is the state of Utah. The average rent as of December of 2023 was $1,378. And with the median home price in Utah being $566,000, it's no wonder this is not a good place to buy rental property. The average mortgage for an investor is gonna be $3,500. So by far, this was the worst state with those numbers. Now that you know exactly how I did it, let's finish the 5 worst states. And coming in at number 49, the state of Idaho. I know you got potatoes, and I know people love them, but your rental properties just aren't cutting it. Coming in at number 48, this is not a surprise to me because on my other ranking list to buy primary houses, this state came in almost dead last. Home to the Golden Gate Bridge, California. State number 47, the state in the Northwest, Washington. And finally, rounding out the 5 worst states, home to the Rocky Mountains, Colorado. Now, did your state make the 5 worst states? And if so, did you find any good rental properties in your state? Let me know down in the comments. These 5 worst states is nothing personal. The numbers are just the numbers. Okay, if you watched my last ranking video, you know I'm gonna do some rapid fire, so here we go. Numbers 45 through 40, we have the states of Oregon, Massachusetts, Maine, South Dakota, Tennessee, and North Dakota. Starting to get a little bit better at number 39, state all the way up north, and it's definitely cold, Montana. Right after that, at number 38, the state that I always forget about because it's so small, Rhode Island. State number 37 is probably one of the most beautiful states in all of the country. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's Hawaii. This one kind of surprised me a little bit because the home prices are so astronomical, but the rent prices are just as high, which makes it a decent place to buy a rental. And I'm guessing there are so many Airbnbs because of the tourism. So not the best place in the world, but you can probably still find something good. Coming in at number 36, we have the state of Minnesota. Number 35, home to gambling and Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 34, home to one of the cities that has severely been overpriced. In Phoenix, we have Arizona. All right, another quick rapid fire to get us to number 30. Numbers 33 through 30 goes to West Virginia, North Carolina, New Mexico, and South Carolina. Okay, so now we're getting right in the middle of the list. This is where rental properties in these states start to become a lot more favorable. Most of the rents in these states are very, very good and can definitely pay the mortgage. So let's get right into it at number 29. Coming in at number 29, we have the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire has some really good affordable rents sitting just under $1,700. And with a lot of states on this list being well above that, this makes it a very attractive place for people to move to, which means you as an investor would want to buy some property there. If you happen to live in the New Hampshire area, leave a comment down below so I know who you are. Number 28, the good old state of New York. Number 27, home to the team that just upset the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, all you Texas fans, but y'all just not good. The state of Wisconsin. Coming in at number 26, home to one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in Atlanta, the state of Georgia. The city of Atlanta and surrounding areas are growing at a rapid pace, and the home prices just aren't jumping like it normally would be. So you can take advantage right now in Atlanta or the surrounding areas and get a great deal. Okay, let's do another quick rapid fire with 3 more. Numbers 25 through 23, we have Texas, Wyoming, and New Jersey. These 3 states were actually tied in almost every single category. The ratio of the rent to the mortgage was identical in these 3 states, which is kind of nice because they are spread out over the country, which means people in the north, the south, east, and west can easily go to one of these 3 states and buy a rental. All right, coming in at number 22, we have the state of Nebraska. Nebraska is known for having a lot of tornadoes, but don't let that scare you from buying here. With relatively low home prices, you can easily get into your very first rental if you don't have a lot of money. Coming in at number 21, a state down south and real close to home for me, Alabama. I can hear some of the Alabama fans now saying, Roll Tide. Rounding out at number 20, the state of Virginia. Okay guys, what do you think of the list so far? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that one of these states should be higher or lower? Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you agree so far? Okay, now we're starting to get into the states that are just so much better than the first 30. The top 20 is filled with states that have good rent, lower house prices, and in the case where the home prices are higher, it's not a big deal because people are paying higher rents in these states. So let's get right into it. At number 19, the state of Kentucky. Kentucky is one of the very few states that can boast a below 4-figure average rent amount. Cutting it close though. Their average rent is $999 as of December of 2023. For most people, that is a huge win to say the average in that state is below $1,000. Coming in at number 18, we have the state of Arkansas. Y'all can fight me in the comments, but it's Arkansas, not Arkansas. Number 17 belongs to the state of Missouri. Missouri is home to Kansas City, which has some of the best barbecue in the country outside of Texas. It's got a good population growth, decent taxes, and some relatively inexpensive homes. Coming in at number 16, the Hawkeye state of Iowa. Number 15, this one kind of surprised me, belongs to the state of Florida. I mean, who would want to live in Florida with all the beaches, the resorts, with all the theme parks, the shopping? Who wouldn't want to live in a state that is called the Sunshine State? Coming in at number 14, another state here in the South, Mississippi. Now to do a quick rapid fire before we get into the top 10. Numbers 13, 12, and 11 go to Louisiana, my home state, Kansas, and Connecticut. I'm very proud that Louisiana made the top 15. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Here are gonna be the 10 best states you could buy as of January 2024 for an investment property. Now, has your state not been mentioned yet? If not, that means you are in the top 10 and you should really consider buying in your own state. The number 10 spot goes to none other than the state with the weirdest flag, the state of Maryland. Maryland boasts a really high rental amount sitting at $1,740 per month for the average rent. And with that average salary in that state being just under $70,000, you're definitely gonna be able to find a renter who can easily afford your home. Number 9, the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has one of the lowest home prices in the country, sitting at $276,000 $1,000. So this makes this state a great place for you, a new investor, to buy. Coming in at number 8 and home to the NCAA college football champions, Michigan. Yes, even though Michigan is cold and it's all the way up north, it still has one of the best rental to mortgage rates in the country. Lucky number 7 happens to be Indiana. With home prices being relatively low and the average mortgage for an investor costing $1,600, it is not hard to see why people want to rent in the state of Indiana. Taxes are relatively decent and rental rates are really, really good. And finally, before we get to the top 5, number 6, the state of Ohio. If y'all watched my last ranking video for residential, y'all know that Ohio was ranked really, really high. And yet again, Ohio is ranked just as high. With the average rent sitting right over $1,000 at $1,073, it's easy to see why most people can afford rent. And with the average salary sitting at $50,000, that just means more people can afford your rentals. Now we have the best of the best. The 5 states where you should absolutely be considering to buy an investment property. These 5 are going to shock you and surprise you. Starting us off, the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a ridiculously low median home price of $235,000. That is almost half of what the median home price in America is. Now, granted, they do have a lot of tornadoes, so insurance may be a little higher, but with home prices being so low, it is easy for you as an investor to get in and get in early. Coming in at number 4, a state up north, Illinois. Illinois is one of those rare states that has a good high income and a good low median home price. Average income is $63,000 and the median home price is $272,000. So as an investor, you should feel very comfortable and very confident that you're gonna cash flow in Illinois. Now for the top 3. We have 3 medals that we have to hand out. A gold, a silver, and a bronze. Do y'all know which states are left? If so, is any of them gonna surprise you? I know one of them sure surprised me. Coming in at number 3 and taking home the bronze medal for investment properties, the state of Delaware. Now, Delaware does have slightly higher home prices than some of the other ones, but where they make up for it is the higher rents and the higher average salary. So don't let that scare you from buying in this state just because it has a higher median home price. If the rent can support it and you can cash flow, then it's a win for you. Now we only have 2 states remaining. We have the state of Alaska and the state of Vermont. Which one do you think is gonna happen to win? Well, let's go through the numbers really quickly before we declare a winner. The state of Alaska has an average rent of $1,750. And I get it, the cost of living is way more expensive up there. But are the home prices just as expensive? Well, no, not really. The average mortgage cost is gonna be around $2,300. But does that mean Alaska is the better of the 2 states? Well, let's look at Vermont real quick. Vermont boasts one of the highest rental rates in the nation at $1,954 on average. But their income is slightly low at only $59,000 compared to some other states. And their median home price is not too bad either. Sitting right at $394,000, the average mortgage is not gonna kill you. So does that mean Vermont won? Well, coming in at number 2 and taking home the silver medal, the state of Alaska. Congratulations, Alaska. You're number 2 behind number 1, the best state right now to buy and winning the gold medal for investment properties, the state of Vermont. And let me tell y'all, when I ran these numbers, it was not close. Vermont beat out Alaska by several ratio points. Like I said, Vermont has a very, very high rental rate. And with the home prices not being as expensive, on average, this is the best state to buy a rental in. Now, don't get me wrong. You can find a good rental property and something that cash flows in any single state. The key is to just find that deal. And if you're really serious about trying to invest in a rental property, don't go out and do it until you watch this video right here. It is an absolute game changer.